Hello, Brukaba, welcome. Um, Go ahead and throw on one of those.
There we go. I was waiting for
there
the
we go.
ticker. I was like, "Where's the ticker?"
I know. I haven't done ticker in a bit. Well, I kept getting in trouble because I kept inviting like Jewish guests up, and like I'd have like Jesus is Christ, and but I also had like Aisha's 9 with a, and just like we're not talking about Islam, but I had like I had some banners up that were a little questionable. I also have some long ones that just Meneval Zut, Muhammad's a pedophile. Anyway,
how do you build that in StreamYard?
Banners.
I've been trying to. Do I need to build that in a separate application and then record it like a recorded loop and then bring it over to StreamYard, or am I being way too complicated?
Banners. Just click on the button that says banners, and you can create them there.
Okay.
You probably can on this one, because it's
right.
But yeah, if you go to yours,
no,
and yeah, it's right above media and assets, right below comments. Anyway, so we're gonna be talking about some new and exciting stuff we got on Islam, and Bible contradictions, maybe some other things. We might just wing it for tonight, just have fun with it. Over the last year and a half, we have been building out resources for dealing with Islam. So Rob Christian had a stream about how the Papaha stuff is elevating Momo to Allah's throne, and I've never heard that before, Ted. Yeah. I mean, you're praying. Well, Allah prays for Muhammad in the Quran, Surah 33. So, I mean, Muhammad is God. He also have in like Surah 8 and Surah 9 where he declares something along with Allah. And Surah 33 says, if Muhammad has spoken on a matter, it's settled. So he elevates himself to godhood all the time. And so do the later hadith. Like if you read the hadith from like the 400s and 500s, there's some wild stuff in there. It's really funny. Including him like sitting on a tree stump and the tree stump weeping because his butt left it. Good time. And then food like praising God as it goes into his mouth because it wants to be eaten by him. And people like around him audibly hearing the Alhamdulillah that the food was saying as it went into his mouth. Then all of creation was only existing for Muhammad. So Allah only created the universe in order to create Muhammad.
Is not to get not to get derailed. Is Doctrines and Covenants, is that only Joseph Smith, or did other prophets also add and write into Doctrines and Covenants?
I think it was Joseph Smith.
Okay. Because I was thinking about if Mormonism had anything in comparable to the Hadith. But the only way I think that would work is if Doctrines and Covenants was like a living document that other prophets could add to. But if that was just a Joseph Smith thing, then never mind.
I don't remember. I mean, I know there's other people that write stuff in it. But I don't remember if those things like Oliver Crowdlead's writings and stuff on that. I don't remember what those were covering. It's been a while. I have not actually read it cover to cover, so I'm not sure what all is in it from possible other entries by other prophets. But
okay, well,
what I've read, I would say no. But, okay, so what is this thing that we've been working on? I say we. Chase and Andrew have not been working on this, so they're kind of just along for the ride. I don't even know if you've seen the tool that I'm discussing today.
I haven't. I'm not in that server.
Right. So this is part of the Islamic Dilemma project. Back in March, David decided to start a global project to read the Quran together as the body of Christ and find every single verse in the Quran that mentions the Bible. We did that. There's over 119 of them that mention specifically the Torah, the Injil, or the book given to Moses. And the Quran, out of those 119 verses, validates it every single time. There's one verse that is neutral, slash maybe possibly negative, but it's not even about the book. It's about what the Jews do with the book. So we read the Quran cover to cover. We cataloged every single thing, and that became its own thing. Well, in that process, I decided to make what I called this is black, very, very bright, so I apologize for that. The pocket guide to counter Dawah apologetics. So I started this maybe in May. Details. March. So I started it right at the beginning, like 2 weeks into the project. And then David left the project, and then I ran it. So I ran the Islamic Dilemma project. I scheduled everything. I made sure we finished it. We finished it last Christmas, literally a week before Christmas in 2025. So it's been about 6 months since the project ended. And now we have people going through the Hadith, and we have some people going through the tafsir, and we have some people rereading the Quran and categorizing every single verse of the Quran for its contents. That is for a different tool, which we will also go through today.
Have I ever told you how I am 100% convinced that David has ADHD? Because I coming from someone who does have it, every time he talks about his inability to like finish a project, like he'll have all these ideas that he can't finish. I'm like, yeah, that's how it goes. It's like you probably need to be medicated. It's like you need to get on like that. I don't do a stimulant because I like to drink coffee, and I don't want to combine the two. So I have a non-stimulant, but I think he said so many things, and I'm like, bro, you got ADHD.
I don't think I do, but I might. I don't think mine is as bad as other people that I've met. And I'm like, wow, you are interesting. But I have trouble finishing a project as well, and I have trouble sticking with one thing for any longer than like a day. But I can also work for like 8 hours at a time if I just like get in the zone. I've written 30,000 words in a day before for one of my documents. So
crazy. I wrote 20,000 words for a book that I never finished. I invested 20,000 words into that book, and I just put it down, and I never came back.
So for this one, this is actually going to be my video for Friday, is the embryology of Islam and where it comes from, because it's coming from the Greeks and maybe the Jews, because the Jews are coming from the Greeks too. So it's all tracing back to the Greeks, but which source he got it from explicitly, I think could be both and. Yeah. So that's actually part of my book, which is this one. So that's going to be in this book as well. Sure, you can email it to me if you want. I think I have all the primary sources on it already, but if you have something already put together, I'll absolutely take a look at it, see if there's anything I missed. I was going to record that maybe tonight after the stream. So anyway,
before we fully roll in, the last thing I'll say on this is that it is truly, so I can look back now and understand all of my like dedication to Christianity after like 19 was 100% because for a short period of time, Christianity became my hyper focus. Because I didn't understand that was a thing, that ADHD people will get like really hyper focused on a subject, and that'll be their whole thing, their whole personality. It didn't occur to me until I tried learning to play guitar, and then I learned music theory, and I dedicated myself to learning music theory for like a month, and it was all like I was literally out like writing like scales and key signatures and the wheel of fifths. Yeah, and I was out here like I was manually writing out like the wheel of fifths and like the circle of fifths and the way like different chords work together and chord structure and stuff. And I ended up putting that down. I never came back to it. Crazy. But by the grace of God, he's never let this one leave. So my Christianity hyper focus has stuck around. And I
I didn't
praise
realize
the
it's part
Lord
of
for that one.
ADHD.
Yeah.
I might actually have ADHD.
Tonight's the night. Chris starts to learn. Well, this could be. This could be. Bro, used properly, it's like a superpower. It's fine. You're able to just process a lot of information.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll deal with that later on in my life. So I started this back in March while we were working on this simultaneously while we were working on the Quran project. And I almost want to show the Discord server for the Quran project. I'm not going to due to privacy and everything else, but we have just hundreds of thousands of words of notes over a year span. We read the Quran all together as a group, about 100 of us, in 10 months, going through around 200 ayah a week. We sat down, we had groups, we had small group meetings. So we had like 5 meetings a week, just going through the Quran, going through Hadith, going through Tafsir, going through and just trying to exegete it, trying to understand it, trying to go through the history of it, why things happen, problems, errors, contradictions. It's why my Quran is so colored and decorated. While we were doing that, we ended up creating this. So me and 3 others were working on this. I wrote the bulk of it, and then an old retired Irishman wrote another big chunk of it. And then another fellow who's an American also helped me write a good chunk of it. This document is 110,000 words. So we have, this is just the topic list is 18 pages. So if you notice the topics, we have what is the standard of Islamic narrative, some bibliography, the arguments they use against the Trinity. But even if we go to the bibliography, we have what do they believe? They believe in Allah, creation, Muhammad, all these things. Then we have the pillars of faith, practices, what they believe about Jesus, and then a bibliography of words that they use, which is decently long. And then we have the Dawah script. So the Trinity is logically impossible. And this is what a Dawah, a Dawgandist, Da'i, might say to you. So then we have that. Then we have the Christian rebuttal to it. And we do that for literally all of them. Then we also have some polemics and other things baked in. So this is very extensive. It got kind of unruly to be just a Google Doc. And actually some of my video notes are in here as well. So the Rebecca or the Allah is evil, some of the videos I made on Islam is in this script. Well, that became a website. So this is a website that you can go to. And in fact, I'm going to ask most of you to go to it. And I'm going to pin it in my comment section. So this, I guess I could do it to yours too. And what I now need from people is testers, people to go through and read it, test the functionality, and make sure that this actually is going to benefit people. There is lots of different content on the site. One of the big one is the Dilemma Vault. These are the 40 dilemmas that I came up with while thinking about Islam and reading the Quran. Denied. Okay, hold on. Just copy that and put it in. Can you access that?
Let me see if I can real quick.
Yeah, you can click on that. It shouldn't be at the moment, but we are trying to create the ultimate Dawah tool. Oh, he was joking. Okay. Not only does this have every polemic against Islam that you can think of, so it's basically a modernized, streamlined version of answering Islam, where the UI isn't horrible, and it's very responsive and much nicer to look at.
This is pretty neat.
There's currently 1,000 pages on this, so it's basically set up as a wiki, but it is centered in a way that you can actually go through and find, okay, what is the standard Islamic narrative, and how would you actually tackle each of the points? So what are the moral failures of Muhammad? Oh, well, he was cruel. How is he cruel? And then it brings up a list of hadith and other actions that he did to show that he was cruel. He's a murderer. How was he a murderer? And it goes through the massacres, the torturing. We also have more assassinations than just these two. A lot of those other ones were political, and a lot of the stuff is still being built. So a lot of the information sources, all that is going to be expanded, and we're going to add a too long didn't read section, or like a this is your Twitter response section, so people can just copy and paste the answer to the questions that the Muslims give. So encounter Dawah, Trinity versus Tawheed. What do you do with the 1 + 1 + 1? Or all the other nonsense arguments that they bring up. So the Trinity says this, then that's what the Dawah script says, and you can respond to it pretty easily. Again, all of this is starting and will be continuing to be built out. The final version of this will probably be ready around November or December. Depends on how quickly I finish my book, because I'll be focusing on finishing this and polishing it after the book is ready. But we have all the different ways you can deconstruct Islam, all the ways you can tackle what they actually say. So the Bible is a myth, Jesus is a Muslim, Tawheed versus Trinity, and then we're going to have many more on top of this as well. Not all of it has been ported over, not all of it has been built out yet. Then we have the dilemmas, which we have, the Islamic dilemma with the logical syllogism, the conclusions, counter arguments, conclusion, like all of the different ways you can go through it. It's basically a summary of Chris's book. And then we also have the Islamic dilemma as a category, which then has every single surah of the Quran and the problems therein. So and we also have these symbols that he created. This is going to tie into one of the other things that we're working on. But if we open up the cow, we can see, oh, well, here's all the errors, the contradictions, and so on. So our notes that we've been developing over the last year is making its way both into textual form so you can read it, understand it, and show why it's an error, and then also share this with Muslims. But it's also going to be tied into this resource, which is our Quran reader. And this is the dark theme. This is more or less what it's going to look like. The red text is the abrogated sections of the Quran. And then we have why it was abrogated, what abrogated it. So you can actually sort the Quran and only read the not abrogated sections of it. And that's pretty cool. Now, abrogation itself is not an agreed, defined thing within Islam. Every single scholar has a different definition. Every single scholar has a different list. So this is going to be our best attempt at the abrogated sections of the Quran, according to the standard schools of Islamic thought. But we're also going to have the categories that it is going to be in. So if it is like abuse of women or any of these, Muhammad, war, jihad, Allah being evil, treatment of women, atrocities that allow like terrible behavior or immorality of the Quran, all of that is going to become little emojis that you can click on, and then we'll open up a note that will then explain what's happening here. And it's going to basically be use these type of explanations where it'll be a paragraph, 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs of an explanation of the problem within the text, within the Quran itself. So as you're just reading through it, these are going to be footnotes that are interactive that will also link back to the Dawah script website. So we're going to have interactive footnotes and interactive things here. So whenever you click on this, instead of opening up to Quran.com, it'll open up to our Quran. So you're going to have all of the notes. We're going to have language notes as well. Anywhere there is a failure in the Arabic, because there's over 2,500 failures in the Arabic, we're going to have that. Whenever there is loan words available, because the Quran says it's in perfect, pure Arabic, whenever there's a loan word, that's going to be pointed out over here. So we have Arabic notes for the Quran, so you can learn the Arabic problems, because Muslims waffle on the Arabic all the time, and the Arabic of the Quran is really not that good of quality. So we're going to show how bad the quality of the Arabic is. At the same time, there's also, if you notice at the bottom, it says, well, it might be too small on the stream, but it has the lexicon as well. So there's going to be a definition within it. And then you can also search by whatever Arabic you want. So the word Allah comes up 1,842 times in the Quran. And then if I click on one of these, it'll just pop it right up to that section. So this is going to be another tool that we have available that is going to have pretty much all of our notes. So all of our notes will be split between these two tools, and they're going to be entirely free. And these are highly effective. So if I want to like pull up Surah 325 or 334, right there, you can. 434 is the other one. But also you can do it by the Arabic. If you want to search by the Arabic of the surah, you can also search by like the name of it. Did I spell Nisai wrong? Hold on. Oh, it's an A. All right. You can search by the Arabic, the English version of the Arabic. You can also search by the equivalent. So the woman, 124. Is it the women? Yeah, the women. Okay. So you can search here pretty instantly, pretty quickly. Oh wait, it's 255 for the throne verse. And then it pops down to it. This is all loaded instantly, and we're going to have an app version of this, and we're going to have an app version of this. So the Dawah script website and the Quran reader is going to be apps as well as desktop app, mobile app, and web page. And all of this will have all of my Talmudic dilemma material, all of the Islamic dilemma material, all of the master key material, and all of the contradictions, errors, and failures of Islam, all in 2 different sources that are explained as quickly and as streamlined as we can make it, while it's still being understandable. So this has been a fairly large project. And yeah, what happens to women in Muzzy Heaven? They get to watch their husbands copulate with sex robots for eternity. It's a great time. They also might be able to have intercourse with children to pass the time, because they might be able to enjoy either the Horis and have lesbian sex, or the Gilman, which are little boys. The men can also enjoy the Gilman, which are the little boys. So as a Muslim, you can choose to either deflower 10-year-old girls or 8-year-old boys for eternity. Or as a woman, you can choose to have intercourse with a 10-year-old girl or an 8-year-old boy for eternity. That is the Islamic paradise. Then you get drunk and everything else. Well, you're not actually drunk, but you get drunk.
Is this a good example of you could use the tool to get to that position?
I think we can. Let's see. Virgins.
Also, do you have the comment from Godolia's? I don't know how to say that.
This one? Hello, gays. I belong to the Ethiopic church, and I have a question regarding the angel of the Lord, since the Ethiopians believe it's Michael, and I think of leaving the church. Any thoughts?
So I looked this up. I would, there may be other reasons with other things that we disagree with, but what I would say is talk to your priest about this specifically, because I went and looked this up, and at first when I looked it up, it said yes, they believe that the angel of the Lord is Michael, but then I typed in over Jesus, and it said no, they do not believe that. They do believe Jesus is the definitive angel of the Lord, but then they believe that Michael has a primacy in terms of archangels. So I think there might be some miscommunication in the language, but not that they just straight up deny that the angel of the Lord in the Old Testament is Jesus. But I could be wrong because I just did 2 quick Google searches, so I have no idea.
If they do say that, that is wrong. That's actually what the Jehovah's Witnesses say. They say that Jesus is Michael. He's a created being.
I just, knowing what I do about the other Orthodox churches, which I mean, I'm not like an expert, I would just be very surprised if they straight up deny that Jesus is the angel of the Lord. Because that's like one of their biggest polemics about the Trinity in the Old Testament, because their whole thing is that doctrine hasn't changed like forever. So,
right. So this one I would say is false. An angel of the Lord is an angel. We get that in Luke's gospel, without the definitive article. In the Old Testament, the angel of the Lord with the definite article is Jesus. Every time. It's not the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is intangible. He can't be touched. He's none of that. Jesus is physical. The angel of the Lord eats food. Well, Yahweh is the angel of the Lord as well, so it gets a little confusing, but the pre-incarnate Christ eats food. He kills people with a sword. He touches people. He somehow digs a well. I don't know if he just like says B and it is, or if he, however that happens. He made a well for Hagar. He does a lot of physical interactions. He wrestled Jacob. He touches people. He also is in the pillar of cloud, and he comes down. He opens the tent of meeting. He's physically interacting. He's hiding Moses with the hands of his cliff. Whenever Yahweh passes by, you have a lot of stuff where the angel of the Lord is Yahweh and yet not Yahweh. He wrestles with Jacob.
Yeah, the being that confronts Jacob is identified as an angel, as the angel of the Lord. Which
that is Yahweh, which is Jesus.
And the term angel in Scripture is messenger, right? And so that we always identify this idea of an angel being some type of like the cherubim or the seraphim, right? But it's the term angel literally means messenger. So he definitely would have had a human appearance, and they were identifying this person as the messenger of God. But what's also interesting is whether they used the same name regardless of the form that he would appear in. So like whether he was over the burning bush, right? That obviously did not look like a man, or at least not like us. Could have looked like the image in Daniel, but didn't look like us. But then you have multiple times where it does look like us, like when he approaches Abraham, right? And they eat together, or when he wrestles with Jacob. But I also would imagine that the one that the donkey saw probably didn't look like us. But yeah, I always imagine in that story that he's floating. So I do think that would probably be a little bit different. But they use the same name. The same identifier is used every time. It's the angel of the Lord.
Yeah, I would say the whole Trinity is present at the burning bush, but the one in the bush specifically is Jesus.
Yeah, that's what's so crazy, is that he's identified as the angel of the Lord, and then he's identified as straight up God. It says that God is speaking.
Yeah.
So like that's one of my favorite verses to use when talking about the Trinity in the Old Testament, is that at first they call him the angel of the Lord that is in the fire. And then when Moses turns and looks, he's turning where the voice is coming from the bush. I know we're about to read it, but the voice comes out of the bush. Moses turns to look at the bush, and when in the scripture it says that he heard the voice of God. The Lord saw.
And God called to him from within the bush. So it says explicitly that the angel of the Lord is in the bush, and then God calls him from the bush. So the angel of the Lord is God. We have a bunch of places where like angel of the Lord is just explicitly called God. That's just one of them. Just as 16 also has that with Hagar. She calls him God, and we also have that in with Gideon's story in Judges. And a couple of the places where he's just like straight up called God.
I love when people ask like, where's the Trinity in the Old Testament. I'm like, oh brother, we can get the Trinity from the Torah. So don't you fret. We can get there. And like and historically speaking, you can't get around this, because in Second Temple Judaism, you did have a subsect that believed in the two powers because of things like this. They understood, well, there at least had to be two, however it worked hierarchically. That's not a word, but they're like, there has to be two because there are two beings identified under the name of Yahweh. How does Yahweh in on earth call down fire from Yahweh in heaven over Sodom?
Yep, it's pretty awesome. I've done a video on that where I went through every single instance. I think the angel of the Lord is Kyrios. Let me actually not do that. I have a video on that actually. It's pretty good.
One of our longest videos, like that wasn't a stream, that was just a straight up like recorded video, was the defense of the Trinity. It's like, I think, a 3.5 hour video, and I think the majority of that video is Old Testament. We're only in the New Testament for like 35 minutes.
This one right here, the Yahweh one, that video, it's 50 minutes long, but I go through most of the passages where the angel of the Lord pops up and how he's Jesus. This one's also a good one. Highly recommend those two. Not many people have seen them, but they're very good. Some of my favorite videos. Also, I realized that the text might have been a bit small for people to read on stream. I apologize. But yeah, so excuse me. I'm still recovering from my my vacation sickness. But
gotta love vacation sickness. One time I came back from vacation and I had dinner with my family. Like, I think it was either the night after I got back or then literally the night of I got back. And I ended up, and I got so sick. And I don't think it was the food. I think it's whatever I carried in from my vacation. I was overseas and I came back and I was so bad. I had to text a friend and be like, I think I'm dying. I need you to come to my house right now. I was like, I need help. It's like, can you please bring me like some crackers and a Powerade? I think I'm dying.
Excuse me. It is worth noting. So this has 1,000 or so pages on it already, with the majority of that being the Islamic dilemma and Jesus and gospel. So Jesus is God in Mark's gospel. So it's every single place that Jesus makes a deity claim within the Gospel of Mark. A bunch of them. There's actually a couple missing that we still need to add, such as no, never mind. That's there. So we have most, if not all, of the deity claims in Mark. Every single chapter has at least one, and we have them. So you can go through this. We can go through like, oh, well, why is that? And there's some exegesis within this website. So whenever the Muslims like, oh, well, John is the high Christology, and that didn't come. So if they use the Bar Ehrman stuff, we have Bar Ehrman counters here as well. The Quran's Bible stories showing where they got them from, why they got them, and all that stuff. So if you have Abraham in the Bible, the places where he popped up, and then we also have the differences between the Bible and which I need to work on this. This is going to be one of the things I do much more in the future. But comparing the Bible, the Quran, and then the Talmud, or the Midrash, because it's copying from the Midrash and the Talmud, not from the Bible. So showing that they're not congruent here, but it is congruent with the Talmud. Doing that for all of the stories of the Quran is about 25% of the Quran. And a lot of this, so the document I made to begin with was around 100,000 words, and around 80,000 of that was stuff I wrote myself. The rest of it was starting to be filled in with AI, because the two people helping me were not as versed in Islam. So there are some pages on this website right now that are just like straight up ChatGPT. That will be updated and finalized before I do a stream with this on David. But I do want people to email me with suggestions, or if you find any, like if you go through the website and you find things that like, oh, I don't think this is that strong. I think there's a better way to go about it. Any of that, you find any bugs or anything of the sort, please email me and we will be updating this over the span of the next several months. But as this tool gets more and more developed, and as we get apps and everything else out there, this will be one of the best tools on the internet right now for just debating on Twitter, debating on TikTok, debating on YouTube, where we will have so like if you want to be able to debate like Avery but not spend the time to learn like Avery, this will hopefully bridge the gap between what people are aware of, what they can become aware of in the matter of minutes, and how well they can articulate it, because we can word things in a way that will cut past the logical fallacies. And every single argument that they come up with, we're also going to have what logical fallacy it's committing, and then also how to respond to that logical fallacy, to point it out, and then also a counterexample for the Muslim themselves to understand why what they're saying is a fallacy, why it's wrong, and just a parable, essentially, because people learn best in parables. So we're going to have as many parables as possible, many memorable short stories or comparisons. We're going to go through an inference of the best explanation, a variety of the deductions, and some of the logic side of it. So we're going to have not only like just destroying the Dawah script, we're also going to have training in how to be an effective Christian missionary, how to evangelize, how to spot errors, how to do basically street epistemology, or the Socratic method, working through things, asking questions, getting people to think through their beliefs and question truth, all that.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And then also Bible stories and Bible lessons. So like the Trinity versus Tali, what actually is the Trinity? What actually is Jesus? What is the cross? What does it mean? And Thomas, we're going to actually like teach Christianity to Muslims. So what does it mean to be saved by grace? And going through it. So we have also how to teach Muslims Christianity. Not only so Muslims can come to this and read it on their own, we also have Christians that can be trained to give this specifically to Muslims. So that is the goal. All of this will be filled out, slowly updated, iterated. I imagine like a complete version of it won't be done. And every single time a Muslim comes up with another stupid idea, like the whole father right thing with Itachi and Korra and Malik and all the other, I forgot the other people who are doing that. But whenever some idiotic TikToker is coming up with new bad Dawah script stuff, we can just add it. So it's going to be an iterated, constantly updated, current way to destroy internet Islam, as well as in-person Islam, what Muslims actually are taught in the mosque versus the reality of Islam, the reality of the Quran, the reality of Muhammad. So we're going to have every single source you need to reach every type of Muslim and to have these conversations with them, whether you're going to do it for more polemical reasons, if you're doing it for more apologetic reasons, you're doing it interpersonally, like you know some Muslims and you're trying to have a relationship with them that will solve some of the problem. It should hopefully be a one-stop shop for everything.
I like Kafar's question.
Are there going to be tests?
I think that's an interesting.
I was thinking
that's a fun idea.
I was thinking that for another website. So we actually have 3 websites. The website that this is on, Islamic.help, is the website name. This one, the homepage is currently really gross and kind of nothing. Just kind of points to the Quran reader in the Dawah script. But the homepage here is basically going to be a walkthrough for Muslims and going through Christianity, going through Islam, and some of that will be interactive and quizzes and all that. It's going to be more like gamified learning in order to get the Muslims to actually go through it. Otherwise, I don't want like cognitive dissonance to kick in while they're going through it. We could add quizzes to the Dawah script website as well. I think that would make I think that would make my Aussie guy that is helping with this very annoyed. But who knows? I might be able to do like a very simple JavaScript pop up whenever you click a button, like start, and then there's like a JS like mini video game Q&A. All right, I'm gonna add that to the list. Okay.
Nice.
Add
See that, guys? It's already working. You're already helping. He also said defending a Lion Academy.
So, of all of these things, we're also trying to get this on Logos as well, or at least get an index for the Logos AI. This is already indexed on ChatGPT. We've actually had ChatGPT quote our website for an answer, which is pretty fun.
It's pretty based.
I've had ChatGPT quote me to me for my day job, which is pretty based. Like I've achieved science. I'm a scientific researcher, and I had ChatGPT quote one of my academic papers to me whenever I was coming up with ideas for something else.
That's crazy.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But does it have a beautiful, perfect destroyer? Oh, take it against Tachi. Yeah. So I'm going to go back through the comments. This site looks dope. If you're looking for a public domain translation of the Bible, I would recommend Berean Standard Bible. Yes, we are probably going to use the Majority Standard Bible or the Berean. I'm not sure which of they're by the same company. They're both open source. I don't know if I want, because I believe the Berean is the critical text and the Majority is the majority text. I don't know which one I like more yet, but that will be the Bible. I think that's the Bible version we're using now. I do not know. That would be a question for someone else. I've not read yet. This is the ESV right here. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to get in trouble for the ESV. We might need to change that. It's also currently linking to Bible Gateway, which is good. So like, this isn't, we're not inputting this. This is automatically generated. That looks like the NIV though. Yeah, that is the NIV, or not the NIV, the King James. Thou art my beloved son, and thee I'm well pleased. And you click on it, and it opens up the ESV. That's funny. Still some bugs to be worked out. Yeah. Oh. Can you find a hadith for me? It was a hilarious one where the prophet is too shy to tell you to get out of his tent, but Allah is not too shy. That is not the that is the Quran. That's Surah 33.
I didn't think that was a hadith.
Yeah, that is the Quran. Just opened the stream and thought it was going to be another logo sponsored stream.
Hey, Chris has to get that bag. All right, if Logos is going to shell out, Chris has got to get that bag.
I would love it. I mean, I've been using Logos for well before I started the YouTube channel. I bought it with David's code, actually.
We're actually officially debt, well, not all debt free. Like we still have our car payments and stuff and house payment. But as far as like credit card debt, we're officially like out from under the thumb of credit card debt. Nice. So we can actually readjust and consider like what we can afford and do. And so I may look at Chase and I getting a Logos package. Because I think that would be good.
It's a great tool. I don't pay the subscription. I bought it before it went to subscription. So I think it was $20,000 for the package I got. Like I got the big boy package. And David got half of that. So I've inadvertently paid David thousands of dollars by buying Logos before it went to subscription base.
Did you take out a loan?
No, my parents said, hey, if you go to seminary, we'll pay for your tuition. I did not go to seminary. But I was like, hey, this is basically seminary. You want to buy this for me? I'm like, sure. So they
It's
bought logos for me.
it's a fraction of the price. By technicality, it's a fraction of the price.
It is. It was cheaper than seminary. I'm literally never gonna go to seminary. I have no need for seminary.
I
So
I have debated it. I only have 1 year of college under my belt because I can't afford college. I love college. I hated it for years. I was a college hater for years because I'm a big self-knowledge guy. I'm like I can do it myself. And then I was like, you know what? I really need to do this. And I went for 1 year and I loved it. I loved higher education. I made the dean's list. Like it was awesome. And then I couldn't keep paying for it. So they keep texting me and I'm like, hey, I want to come back. This is not, I'm like, we're on the same page. I just don't have the money for it. But hey,
yeah,
no more debt. So who knows? Anything's possible.
no, I have a bachelor's in computer science. I generally would not recommend getting that unless you really feel like you have to. I think most of higher education is a little bit of a scam at the moment, but
oh yeah, it is. It 100% is. I had it set up when I was getting ready to do my second year, and I was meeting with my advisor, and I had it set up. I was gonna have everything I needed for my degree. I would have had done at the 2.5 year mark. And then they told me, yeah, you shouldn't do that. You should space it out, put these classes here. And I was like, why? Can I not just get my degree? And they're like, no, you have to finish the full 4 years to get your bachelor. And I was like, but everything I would need. They're like, well,
done in 2 years.
You need these extra classes too to fill your hours. And I'm like,
yeah, go to a trade school, man. Trade schools are a tenth of the price and twice as fast.
I did do 2 years of digital media. I just didn't do any of these surrounding classes to technically actually get a degree. I have a certification that I did the program. I don't have an actual degree. But oh well, I agree. I'm not a huge fan right now of higher education, but I like education in general. I like learning. It's just my pastor at my church wanted me to go to seminary. And I'm kind of like hoping that I get to the point where I can get into like, Asbury Seminary does a, just cause I'm technically Wesleyan, they do a program for people who are like the special cases. So like if you've been doing ministry for like, 20 years, but you don't actually have a degree, they're like, yeah, we'll just say you have the experience and we'll put you on a track to get you a degree so you could actually be a pastor. So I'm kind of just writing it out right now, like 10 years. I'll just I'll see what Asbury's up to and hope they'll take me in.
Yeah. Ooh, there's a Python script called Udetia and now allows logos to run under Linux using wine libraries. Interesting. I know that there's a logos plugin you can use for web development that just links directly to whatever translation you want.
Oh no, Chris,
what?
You got to look at the bottom. Look who's here.
Sheikh Baba Ganoush.
Yeah, Chris is the tool. He's gonna destroy Dawah. Chris is our Dawah destruction tool.
How old is this channel? It was made in March 2025. Who in the world got that? I don't feel like it's Ash, but I'm super curious. That's so good.
You don't think that's Ash?
I don't think it is. It'd be really, really funny if it was.
Hey, look, it's not Ash.
I meant it as an insult. You see, Christians always corrupt words.
We do. We are well known for our word games.
Uh,
We're like
yes.
the Jedi.
So with this tool and with this tool that we're working on, and with my book, I will have written around 300,000 words on Islam over the last year and a half. And yeah, also for the non-members of my channel, I did a stream on the book, reviewing the book. If you want to go watch that, become a member, you can look at this in more detail before it's ready.
Yeah.
Thoughts, questions, ideas for the website.
I love it. I think I actually really like the simplicity as well. Like just the way it's laid out. Like I know technically you could have a cleaner layout. I really like this. I think it's very to the point. I think everything is like categorized well. No,
Yeah.
I think it's very clean in the way it's presented. I like what you did here. This is pretty amazing.
Nope.
And I really wish I worked with a guy. I worked with a guy at my job, and I learned very late that he was a Muslim, and I was like, oh, and it was very funny. We really hadn't done that much yet on the channel about Islam, and so I knew a little bit, but I didn't know like a ton yet. And as we were talking, like I wanted to try and like lead him to Jesus, and then he ended up leaving. I was so sad. Like he left for the summer because he's a college student, and he came back and he got a different job at the school that was going to be better for him and easier to manage. And I was like, dang it, why can't you be stressed out? I need to talk to you about Jesus. And then he showed up one day and he was like, oh man, I'm sorry. I was like, it's fine. I was so sad. This would be great. This would be great to like point him to, because he was willing to have these like pretty deep conversations, and I definitely could have told him like, hey brother, you should go check this website out and just like navigate it and like see what you think, and try to refute the arguments. Like if you think that they're being biased or whatever, like let us know. But yeah, so that very cool.
Will the app be offline? Yes. Right now, so even for the Quran Reader too. If you want to see the JS of this, it's pretty funny. No, I can't actually. I'd have to stream this, but I guess I can stream this. Stop screen, share window, dev tools. All right, let's look at some code. All right, so we have the Quran reader itself, so the page, just like some basic HTML. Like, this is actually all the code for the website, which is really funny. It's just this little bit. That's all my HTML code. Then the reader itself is fairly lengthy, not too bad. But then I actually have why is it not here? It's not actually coming up here. It's interesting. I have some other JS files that it's actually reading from that has all of the Quran and all of the others. So it's all reading everything locally stored within the cookies within memory on the website itself, which is why it's so fast. So the reason why I can just like jump around instantly on it, which makes it significantly faster than like Quran.com. Like the reason why I could like search up the word like mercy or something, and then it just pulls up 134 results like that, is because it's literally loading everything remotely offline from the JS file itself. So it's doing a word search using JavaScript querying, which makes it incredibly fast. And then we also have that with the filters as well. So we can filter by like, hey, I want to pull up everywhere where Adam's mentioned. And then it brings up all the passage that talks about Adam. And then if I want to bring up everything about jihad, and then it brings up the stuff on jihad. And it's like, it's pretty instant. Or like stories of the prophets would be a bigger one. Or it's not actually populated yet. What one is populated that I have figured? Not that one. This is again part of the work we need to be doing. Is this is being done in an Excel sheet, so it's not being updated in real time. Which is why most of these categories are. It's clear. GitHub apply. It's because I was doing multiple categories at once. So this will be updated and expanded and everything else as well. And all of it will be able to be offline. So you don't have to, JavaScript in the year of our Lord 2026. Yes. I'm doing vanilla JavaScript to make it as stupidly fast as possible and to not need a shell to run in, to not need Node, to not need any lookups. We don't have any jQuerying. We don't have none of the PHP nonsense. It's literally all static and it's so fast and I love it. And I don't have to worry about anything. I don't have to worry about updating things. I don't have to worry about servers. I don't have to worry about a thing. This thing just works and it is fast and it is beautiful and I love it. And it took me like 3 weeks to build it. So not too bad. But yeah, I made the website, which was fun. Getting the Arabic to whenever I actually you can make the text bigger and smaller too. Getting the text to be bigger and smaller for 2 different languages. I didn't know how to do that in CSS. That took a journey. That was literally like 3 days of my life was going through obscure CSS stuff to find out how to do multiple language font types adjustments. So it's fun, but you can scroll on the notes and it doesn't scroll. You can scroll on the notes and it doesn't scroll. If you scroll on the actual text, it realigns the notes to the text that you're reading, which is super nice. You have English lexicon, Arabic lexicon. You can turn off the Arabic. You can turn on the Arabic. You can sort it chronologically. So if I go to the first surah, 96, you can see that there is none before it. It says start of order. And I can go down to 68 and 73, 74. So we actually sort it chronologically. Or if I want to go back to 96 and then go back to standard order, now you see 97, 98, 99, so on. So this is going to be a very powerful tool for keyword searches, for Arabic searches, for categories, for any error, any problem, and also just reading the Quran. This is our own custom translation. So there isn't any having to deal with, we're also going to have headers. So the Quran is famously a hot mess that jumps from topic to topic at a moment's notice. Mm-hmm. We are going to have headers in the Quran. So as you're reading, you can see the context shift, which is very helpful. So
I need you to the last 2 Sheikh Baba Ganoush comments are hilarious.
I came to you doubting Islam because of Tucker Carlson, but you were very rude, and so I was saved from my doubts. Alhamdulillah. You see, I knew you were a Mossad agent. His special technology skills.
It's just like how Junior was so positive that IP was a Mossad agent because he had a Hebrew tattoo. Having Hebrew on your arm means you're a Mossad agent. Don't you know? Don't you see? This is the proof.
Let's get a tattoo of Yahweh and be like, oh, he's a Jew. Anyway. I feel like this is actually Ash with that comment. That's such his comedy. Yeah, you have raised my Christian iman. Honestly, dude. So creating this has been pretty special. I can arrange it chronologically. Yes, in fact, indeed. Just push this button and then it's chronological now. So 63, then the 58, 58 to the 49, 49 to the 66, 66 to the 64, and so on. Then you can just click it back and now it's 65, 66, 67, and so on. Very quick, very easy. I tried to make this as user-friendly as possible, as comprehensive as possible, as quick as possible, and having a nice little layout. It doesn't scroll. You don't have to deal with stupid scrolling. I hate Quran.com with a passion. The only thing we don't have that Quran.com does have is the speaking, the recitation, the cantillation of the Arabic. Other than that, that's the only thing it has that we don't have. We will also have the tafsir and the hadith that are related to it. So we're gonna have everything Quran.com has, including some things that they don't have, and then all of the notes and everything else to just destroy Islam, all in a page that you don't have to scroll. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. I love that fact. And this is what the emojis look like. I mentioned the emojis earlier. So there's I can probably zoom in. Oop, I zoomed in too much. So you can see the little emoji there. That's the Bible or book. So all of these are, then there's feet, Jew, cross. Maybe make that bigger. Oh wait, I'm an idiot. Oh no, it's not making the emojis bigger. Anyway, Easter Island head is one of the emojis. Which, what was that category? Kafir. The kafir is the Eastern Island head. The feet are reminder, I think. Maybe not. We have a lot of different emojis. The emojis themselves, I was very happy with and very proud of. And yeah, that is the tool that we were making. So any thoughts, any comments for the Quran reader, for the Dawah script, feel free to email me. If you have any thoughts or comments right now, feel free. In Muslim communities, we call junior al-baj, baju, al-baju. I don't get it. It's a joke about how he was conceived accidentally. What's al-baju mean?
Don't worry, I'm working on it.
Okay.
Albaca?
That looks like a J at the end.
Spray?
Wait, hold on. That looks like a J. Doesn't look like a K, whatever. The sprayed one. Huh. Anyway. So
I think I understand the joke, but
if you notice in Islamophobia, as in Islamophobia increases, global warming increases in tandem. This is the proof of punishment of Allah. Right. Will I be adding the hadith so we can read about the Al-Zut? Indeed, we will. We'll be adding the hadith in both the Quran reader and the Dawah script. I am compiling a list of all problematic hadith. It's going to be several hundred, and we'll have that as just one of the dedicated sections on the Dawah script. And then we will have hadith when relevant within the Quran reader itself as just part of the footnotes. So, let me read this refutation. Digitalized jinn. Does it give out the call to prayer 5 times a day? We could. So I really wanted to program some music that would autoplay whenever you opened up the Quran reader. So you open it and just like playing Islamic music or like calming, nice sounding music, or like every once in a while it'll just scream loud Allahu Akbar at you in like metal jihad sounds. Or we could have a lot of fun with it. Whenever you read like Surah 9:5, so if you like pull up this verse, like, or you like scroll past it, you just get a very loud Allahu Akbar and then like an explosion sound. That would be pretty fun. Shek is in this back. He probably has a baby on him right now, and he's just you cannot prove me wrong. Anyway, yeah, no Quran singing rejected. Yeah. Have the Arabic recited by a Jew for the cherry on top. Oh, that sounds so funny.
Bro, I think Ash is having an identity crisis right now. He's been like up for like 4 straight days with this baby, and now he's having like an identity crisis going between 2 accounts, commenting back and forth. He's slowly losing his mind.
I can have a box. Yes. So that is going to be in the Arabic side. We're going to have the variant readings that are of note. Not all of them, because all of them are a bit chaotic. We do have, I can bring that up real quick. We have variant readings of the manuscripts themselves. Let me figure out that. Not that. I can't pull that up on screen. That would get me kicked off the YouTubes if I pulled that up on stream. I think it's this one.
Chris, what are you looking at?
My Islamic. So I have in the other server that you're in, the older one. If you could scroll down to Islam, you should click some of those links.
Okay. I'm scared.
Dude, the research on Islam is quite yeah, especially when it comes to animals. Anyway.
Okay.
So we do have Quran textual variants with all of the variant reading, why it's happening, and all that. So all of this stuff is going to be inside the Quran reader itself. So we're going to have all of the important variants between the different versions, between the Hafs and all of the other 20 or 30 or so that we've had. Not all 30 kirats are actually indexed. Only, I think, the 10 canonical ones are. But we do have the Sana pamphlet sets, or palimpsets. We have some other manuscripts that just don't line up directly. So we have those. We have 116 of them that we're going to have within this reader as well, plus some additional ones from like author Jeffries and some of the other people's works with loan words and the variant readings. There's a book you can get on archive right now that literally just lists every single variant reading across all the kirat, across multiple manuscripts, because actually there's multiple versions of individual kirat, like the Hafs. The reason the Hafs had to be standardized in Cairo is because there were different versions and they wanted to teach out of one of them. So the Egyptians, was done in Cairo in 1925. They created the Quran that we have today. So that version of the Quran was not actually the only version of the Hafs. It's the version that they created. So the Quran Muslims read from is only 100 years old, 101 years old. So we'll have a lot of that. We can't have all of it just because it's going to be way too much stuff to put up. But we're going to put a lot. We're going to test the limits of what JavaScript can load. It's going to be fun. It's not like he likes you or anything, but baka. The Al Sundere. Ash the Jew Catholic is back. I didn't even notice that he was actually going back.
That's what I was saying. I was going back and forth between the accounts.
Yeah, he is learned to spell shit. And you are Ukfar Jew Catholic Ash. You are a kafir. That's what he is trying to say. Ganush. Indeed. Hello, brother. So these are what we got. There's a lot of these that I wrote myself, and a lot more that I did not write myself, but we've been creating and working on. The women one is one of my favorites. But also, if you want to be like, oh, Rebecca is 3. If I spell her name right. This is proof. So this is my video in the stream I did with Ash. Here's all of my notes. So whenever I make a video on Islam, the notes are going to end up here. So this has all the sources. It has the evidence from textual, linguistic, physical, behavioral, cultural, and chronological. I even threw in a syllogism for it. So we've really built out a lot of these common arguments, and we will try to get a too long didn't read section at the beginning of all of them. So, for example, and I wanted to do so that this has like a summary right at the beginning. I want to update this. So this was made by ChatGPT. I didn't make this. One of the old retired Irishmen made it, and that's basically gonna be the layout. It's gonna be like a quick, hey, you can post this to Twitter or a comment section. The main arguments against it, maybe some logical fallacies we'll have here, what they say against that, and then the deep dive into the actual background and rebuttal. And you can go to the next one and the next one, the next one. And it is also at any point in time, if you're like, oh, I'm like 4 or 5 pages down, and this is like the standard Islamic narrative, Muhammad, the moral failures, and the individual page. If you want to go back to Muhammad instead of going back to moral, you can just click this. So you can also, and you want to go back home. So this is very much a wiki layout, but it's a little bit more, in my opinion, it's a little bit more intuitive than like Wikipedia. Tooting my own horn a little bit. Granted, the Aussie was the one that did most of the designing work, and the Irishman, they did a lot of the background. I just helped make some of the content, and then I'm going to be helping with the content in the future whenever the book's done. But yeah, that's the tool. So some nice portraits of Muhammad really flesh out the site. We're also going to have backups. So this will be an app, so it can't be DDoSed, which is going to be great. It'll be a web page too, so that can be DDoSed. We'll have a backup of the web page and offline desktop apps as well. So this is going to be distributed to all the people who download it. So it's going to be impossible for Muslims to take off the internet using the normal tactics they use. So, and then it's also been archived in a couple different ways. So all of this work we're doing, my book, Chris's book, the 3 websites we're building out and doing all that stuff with, all of that is going to be impossible for Muslims to get rid of off the internet, which is going to be pretty cool. And all of those, if you take all of that information in, you use all those tools, you will be able to argue against Islam in ways that no other generation in the world history has been able to do. And I really think with stuff like this and with enough motivation within the body of Christ, we will help end Islam in our lifetime, because it is false. And the vast majority of Muslims do not know it. So, yeah. That's actually my goal for next year. Not for Jews, though. My goal for next year is to do exactly what I just did for Islam this last 2 years. I'm going to do it again for Hinduism. And then after Hinduism, I'm going to do it again for Buddhism. And then after Buddhism, I'm going to do it again for Judaism. So over the next 5 years, we're going to be building out at least 6 websites to tackle Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, maybe atheism, but atheism is kind of like, you have to be really dumb to be an atheist at this point. And Judaism. And then Christianity, like just teaching basic Christianity, which I already have my own website, but we are going to be building out tools of this sort for every major world religion so that all Christians can be equipped to preach the gospel to all people. That is the goal. Within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to have all of that. So
it's that's a lot of I have not actually studied up enough on Hinduism and Buddhism.
Hey, speaking of atheists.
so it begins.
That's funny. Yeah, no, Hinduism is my book is up. No, if you wanna get a little sneak peek of it. No, my book is not done yet. When it is done, which will be, so I went on vacation, right? And I mostly didn't work. I worked for about 30 minutes, but I did read a book and I did work on notes for the book, even though I didn't have internet. So I was making like text message notes to myself for the book. I keep expanding the book. I think it's going to be over 400 pages.
Whew.
I don't know when it's actually going to be finished because it just keeps growing. So, but it's going to be extremely comprehensive. I think this will be the definitive book on plagiarism within Islam for every source of plagiarism, not just the Jews. I have Christians, Gnostics, Greeks, Romans, all of it. Zoroastrian, Manichaean, all of it. So I have well over 200 things that are stolen within Islam already in the book, and another 80 or so to research and add to it as well, if I can find good proof for it. Then I'm also going to be bringing up the Aramaic, Syriac, and Hebrew comparisons to the Arabic of the Quran, because there's times where the Quran quotes verbatim the previous sources. So, it's going to be lengthy. It's going to take a long time. It's a bunch of effort. It's going to be extremely useful. Then all of the information within the book is going to be on those two websites for free for everyone. In a very easy to iterate through thing. So that's going to be its own site of part of the site, which will be pretty cool. But yes, Ash, if you do want to work on a Jewish app, I would be up for that.
Somebody had asked why your preference wouldn't be to do Judaism next, since you're already working with so many Jewish sources.
Yeah. There's only a couple million Jews. There are a billion Hindus that are the least reached people on the planet. There's already people like Ash. There's already people like Radar. There's already all of these great resources and people that Jews are going to and finding the truth in already. There's almost no one doing Christian apologetics to Hindus. Almost no one. We don't have resources for it. We don't have the infrastructure needed to reach the billion lost souls in Hinduism. So at some point it's a numbers game, but at the same time, it is I was gonna say a market, that's messed up. It is a people group that have not been reached with the gospel, largely speaking. So Hindus and Buddhists are the next big thing I think Christians need to be focusing on, because we've already gone through atheism, we've already gone through Judaism pretty thoroughly over the last like 60 years, incredibly thoroughly. We have not done Buddhism or Hinduism, and we're doing Islam now over the last 20 years. So after Islam is done, which is the biggest threat to the world, like to humanity, but also the most amount of lost souls in one group. After that's done, I want to focus on Hinduism, which is the next biggest group, and then Buddhism, which is the next biggest group. I might eventually do something on atheism. I'm writing a book on atheism, so my book might be the thing I do, not fiddle with website for that. But then I'll do something dedicated to Judaism itself. But most of my Jewish knowledge end with like the Amorim. Like I have not even gone much into the Genoic period or especially like Rambam and onward. Like I have not tackled that much, so I'm not as prepared. But if someone like Ash wants to go through it and create all the resources, I would be happy to work with you and create it. I just don't have the time myself, so I'm trying to prioritize what I know, what I need to learn, and what the body needs at that point in time.
Oh,
So
Chris, you are quite the salesman. I'm starting now. I did not know that there were 1.2 billion Hindus in the world. I mean, obviously, it's so Eastern. I just don't even think about it. You know, it's like while I've been studying like church history and stuff. In several of the history books that I've been reading that are like just comprehensive overviews of history. When it gets to like Chinese history, I'm like, oh yeah, what were they doing? I was like, I'm so disconnected from everything that's happening over there. I have no idea. And so like, this is just another one of those examples where I'm like, I am so locked in on like a very narrow scope of history trying to place all these events and things that I just completely don't even think about what was happening in like Southern Asia and like that whole area. And so I think I think that's definitely something I want to start looking into more. I just looked up some introductory texts to start reading up on Hinduism.
Yeah, that's my project for next year. Once I get this book finished and this website finished, I'm going to be hardcore diving into Hinduism. The Dawah script, actually, yeah, I have Ahmed D. Dot's actual physical English Dawah script, which was the name of the book too. So it was literally how to give Dawah to Americans. So I have a lot of literal English and Arabic Dawah scripts. And if you read it, it's exactly what Muslims say online. So I have several of them written by sheikhs and imams that were the base. So actually, some of the things on the website is literally from the Dawah scripts that were circulated in the 80s, 90s, and early thousands. So we have literal Dawah scripts that we're responding to. Then we're also responding to arguments as they come up, as we see them in the comment sections on YouTube. Also, that would be a big task for all those things. Yes, it would. Also, Ash, I'm like really far back in history. Only a couple million branches cut off. Yeah. No, I mean, again, so it's like billion versus a couple million. Chris, how do I monetize these Hindus?
I was gonna tell you to pull that one
up. Chase going to bed. Love you, brother. There's some other comments I started. I'll come back to, but yeah, there are 20 million Christians in India. It's still less than 2%, indeed. And the Hindus themselves like consider it a genocide whenever the Hindus come to Christianity, which is part of the big problem. Is they don't believe in the law of contradiction as a religious view. So they are fine by saying Christianity is true and Hinduism is true. They're fine saying that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and the only salvation, the only God, and saying that Brahman's God.
Chris, I can't do this.
They have no problem with contradiction. So how to actually reach their heart and their mind is an insane Herculean task.
Dude,
that's one I want to accomplish.
That feels like an argument with a Mormon. I can't.
Yeah.
I'm struggling already.
So you have to figure out a way. That's why it hasn't happened. That's why there's not resources. It is the by far, in my opinion, the hardest group to reach with the gospel. Bar none. And it just hasn't been done on the scale that we need.
Because they have no problem. They have no problem just believing that Jesus is of their deity, like their pantheon of deities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they like consider him because it's any god that's correct me if I'm wrong, but essentially any god that's ever been worshipped, they would argue just is real.
Right. Well, they believe everything is part of Brahman, and so again, it depends on the Hindu. Hinduism is the least monolithic faith there is. Every Hindu is a different religion. So they might have different gods that they worship, believe in. They might believe that it's only Brahman and all just very different versions of them. They might believe in literal other gods as well. So you literally have monotheistic Hindus and Hindus that believe in billion or millions of gods.
It feels like you're up against a wall where you almost have to argue like an atheist to get them to take down their view of the multiplicity of gods, and then you have to reconstruct a monotheistic understanding of God. Because in a weird way, I don't even want to go there. I'm not going to say what I was going to say. He'll get clipped.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it.
Yeah.
But you literally have to tear down and then rebuild. That is
I am the problem now. Yeah. Yes, it is. Ash brought up that Buddhists are also really hard to evangelize to. Yes. The East is by far the hardest because of their views of truth and reality. So those are the two ones I want to focus on next. Is there are around a little over 2 billion people currently on their way to hell, because it's too hard to reach them, and that feels like a very lame excuse. So
yeah, I mean that's so interesting. Because the whole Eastern ideology of like appeal to mysticism, it makes things so difficult. At least in like Western, Western ideology, regardless of whether it's Christianity or not, is backed in some type of like definitive truth claims. Like they're like the whole concept that there are truths that we can know is Western typically.
Mhm.
So trying to even
Right.
navigate those those Eastern arguments.
It's
Oh
incredibly
my
hard.
gosh.
Yeah. But I've been steeped in Eastern thought for 2 decades now because I grew up on anime and I got very deep into Chinese history and Hinduism. And I was also a religion nerd. So I studied a lot of the polytheistic race and also play Smite. And Smite also made me interested in studying the other religions as well. So I already have a decent background in it. And I know how difficult it is because I've talked to them about it. And you actually, I love there's all these videos of Christians trying to evangelize in India, and they have a crowd around them, especially if you're a white person. But they have a crowd around you, and they will all like do the sinner's prayer with you. And then the next day, you see them they're at the temple, and they're just going about their business. They're like, "Oh, I thought you were a Christian now." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, what are you doing at this temple? Like, why are you worshiping this pagan god?" He's like, "Well, I worship this too." And it's like, okay, no, you have to pick one, and they're like, no, I don't have to. So getting past the no, I don't have to. Getting past it's almost the hardest people to talk to are those who are apathetic. You have to get them to get past their apathy to actually care, to listen, to think, to reason, to get past which is why I love Ray Comfort's method of, hey, you want to take a test? And we're like, sure, why not? Are you a good person? Yeah. And then they go through the 10 Commandments. Like, oh, no, I'm not a good person. Are you going to heaven or hell? I guess hell. And then that would be the trigger to snap out of their apathy, and it works a very high amount of time. Yeah, you can hop on, Ash. Um, I'm gonna pee in a second, so whenever you hop up, I might be peeing. But you have the right comfort approach where you break them out of their apathy, and then you can evangelize to them. Then you can say, "Oh, well, Christ paid your penalty." Hindus and Buddhists, they don't have that in the same way. They're still apathetic. They still are like, "Oh no, it's fine. You have your truth. I have my truth. Everything is relative. It's fine." They don't believe in objective reality. So you then have this sort of apathy of the opposite. Instead of it, I don't care, it's I care about everything or I allow everything. And showing that you have to actually pick one in a way that they can understand is pretty difficult. So you have to become a Hindu to the Hindu. But in doing so, you have to get really steeped into Hindu like background knowledge, understanding, and then you have to figure out like parables and ways to speak to them in their language that they can understand. Which my boss comes from that background, and I had a like, hour and a half conversation about Christianity with him, and he's like, "Yeah, well, we're all part of, we're all an hallucination. We're all part of a mind." I was like, "My guy, you're a physician, you're a doctor. Like you work 70 hours a week. Why do all of that if the people you're touching aren't even real?" And it's just fine with him. It's crazy. Anyway, I'm gonna go pee before Ash hops up here.
Okay. Well, guys, it's time to get the stream banned. Just kidding. This is Cinnamon. If you hadn't seen her, I would show everyone the new puppies, but they're menaces if I leave them to their own devices. And last week, Bo, one of our newest pups, unplugged several cords under my computer and pooped on the floor. So, and it's a carpeted floor. So I let him out, and then I put him in his crate for the stream. feel like saying crate just doesn't feel right because it's a crate to me is like a tiny box, but it's not a tiny box. He has a nice sized kennel. Kennel is a better word. Robert, I cannot pull your comment up because Chris has stream control, but yes, we need to pray for you in that.
Hello.
You hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so fortunately and unfortunately, I have listened to way too many hours of Alan Watts and Ram Dass.
Yep.
Basically what happened was when I stopped keeping like Jewish rules and stuff like that, and like stopped being observant of Jewish law, I was working in East Jerusalem in security. And as a joke, people would ask like, oh, so what do you believe in now? And I would tell them I'm a Buddhist and like joke about having idols and stuff, which didn't seem to bother them. But I get in this patrol car with this guy that I have never worked with before. And we stop and pull over and we're just like hanging out at this one spot. And we start talking and I was like, yeah, I'm a Buddhist. And he goes, really? He goes, yeah. He's like, me too. And he has like a giant tattoo of some Buddhist tattoo on his back and like on his arms and stuff like that. And I think he named his kid like some short version of like Siddhartha Gautama or something like that. Like some mix of it like made into a name. But anyways, I started like I had already had like one friend who was really into Buddhism and like Eastern mysticism, who was also like into Kabbalah and stuff like that. He had no clue what he was talking about in retrospect, because once this guy started talking about Buddhism, I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And so I was listening to like tons and tons and tons of lectures from Alan Watts and reading books and stuff like that. And it was pretty interesting. Never seemed plausible or believable to me in any capacity, especially because Alan Watts's lectures tended to start off like, if you were God, what would you do? And then go on this whole like thing about the world illusion and how God would want to do that. Like, so you're just presupposing that the creator of the universe is exactly like you in every single way with your will and intent and everything. Right? That's how you started off.
We're proud of that.
So yeah, it's pretty interesting. But I learned quite a bit about like Mahayana Buddhism in that little time frame where I was just listening. I had time to listen to a ton of lectures, and I was listening to a lot of them. And the reason why I said in the chat they're some of the hardest people to evangelize, in my opinion, not that I've really tried, but I've seen stuff like people talking to them. You're not even starting off on the same ground as an atheist. Right? With an atheist, they have presupposed the Christian worldview to an extent before you even got into the conversation. They believe in the same ethical principles, the same necessity for, you know, the transcendental argument, right?
Logic and
right. It works with them because it's like, well, you need to have some kind of grounding for your, you know, epistemological framework, right? You don't have that with somebody who believes in Mahayana Buddhism. Like, they've already come to the conclusion that everything is an illusion and like part of a giant cosmic play where the one true God is like screwing with himself for fun, for shits and giggles. Like, it's like, how do you even begin to like, well, where do you it's like, well, I don't know. Well, so wouldn't you then think that no, my worldview is true, but you don't have any real grounding for that? It doesn't matter. It's an illusion anyways. It's like, what?
One thing I've found that is effective is people don't live as if that's true. So you can point out the difference between what they intellectually believe and accept and what they actually live and do and practice. Right. You can show why is there a disconnect between what you say and what you do. And that might be a ground that you can use to like inch in. But even then, it's still like, oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was like
Yeah.
That was one of those things because Ash was on with us when we debated a couple of Mormons. And what shocked me was that there was no standard of truth.
Yeah, I was pretty blown away by that.
That threw me for a loop. I did not know what to do. I was like, how do we have a conversation if there is zero ground?
LDS, like I didn't know much about them. And I was like, I thought you still thought the Bible was true. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think I told Chase like a couple things that I really want to push the next time we have a Mormon on to talk with them is like, what reason do I have to convert to something that has no standard of truth? Like, why you've given me no reason to want
your
to
emotions
convert, right? It's like, I can't have any backing of truth of any kind. And I don't know. That's like when you were describing the stuff with Hinduism, it's like, it's not that it's impossible. It's just, it's confusing. Like, I don't know what, and maybe that's the problem is I only ever come at these topics from like a presupposed view that there has to be some defined truth. And maybe I just need to find like another outlet of it's a fun challenge. I just got to figure out how do you.
My older brother was really into studying world religions, and like he's a total atheist, but he studied biblical Greek and stuff like that. So I go in with him to a convenience store near our house to buy some stuff, and it's like 8 p.m. or something like that. There's like nobody in there but us, and he strikes up a conversation with the guy who's working there about Hinduism. And he asked the guy, he's like, oh, so how many gods would you say that there are in your belief system? And the guy's like, we have 2 to 3 billion gods. And I kid you not, my brother asked him, how do they all get along? Like just kind of tongue in cheek. And the guy, without missing a beat, literally went, this is miracle.
Oh, that's great.
I'm not even kidding.
That's so good.
I mean, the gods literally go to war against each other within Hinduism.
Right, but the guy is just like giving like his answer to Westerners, like, yeah, it's a miracle that we have these gods that kind of all exist that don't like each other.
Right. Hey, Talon, how you doing? Yeah, no, Hinduism is hard. I did want to answer some comments that people had that I starred.
Racism in the chat.
Racism. Oh, Johanan. No.
Okay. Racism.
So you gotta have a list for every hadith. Yes, we're gonna have that. Chris, you need to help me make an app. Yes, we can. We can talk about that later. Jokes aside, from where does the story that allowed disfiguring humans come from? I'm not entirely sure which one you're talking about. But if you want to bring that back up, you can let me know. I was responding to Atheist comment. I didn't even see Baba called me an anti-Semite. I love how you were arguing with yourself. You said,
what are you talking about, bro? That's not me.
Jeez, Chris. You're just making assumptions so it might be
good.
Out here.
Might be good to get...
He started commenting on my channel. I've never seen him before.
Get translations of these sites in languages that Muslims speak, like Urdu, Farsi, Malay, British English. British English is funny. Anyway, yes. So right now we have...
The guy says, the guy responded, the accent is crazy. He said racism. Now, if he's not joking and he thinks it's racist to do like an Indian accent, how come he didn't think it was racist when I did like a southern dude, like a Southern American, when I'm actually Israeli? Why wasn't that racist?
Valid.
I'm an Ashkenazi Israeli. Why wasn't it racist to do an American Southern accent?
Well, now that you say that, Ash, actually.
Yeah, now it was.
Yeah. Now we're putting together a compilation. I'm putting together a new compilation.
Yeah.
Ash's out-of-pocket moments.
Man, mine is gonna be long. I might do that for April 1st next year. Just do a compilation of
that would be fun.
The off-the-wall things that happen on my channel. Okay, so for the actual translations we're working on, we have one person making Chinese right now. So we have a Chinese brother who's helping with that. We have two Chinese brothers helping with that. We have several Arabic speakers. We need people. I have one Malay speaker.
Being racist, I prefer to be called Mandarins.
Well, he's Taiwanese. Anyway, so we have those already. We have Spanish as well working on. We do not have Urdu. We do not have Farsi. And we do not have Indonesian. So we have a couple.
I'm going to the bathroom real quick.
All right, we have a couple that still need to be done, and we might just use like DeepL, like AI translation for a lot of it, then have native speakers go back and verify it. But Wiki has this nice little feature where you can just change the language instead of having to translate or having to have multiple versions of the site. They actually have different layers to the HTML display that you can just do different languages in place within the tools. So we'll have a button, and we'll have maybe also Russian as well. So we'll have 8 or 9 different languages that you can use for both the Quran reader, hopefully eventually, but definitely the Dawah script is going to have that. And then my work on the Talmudic dilemma and the Islamic dilemma is both being translated as well into other languages eventually. It's just going to be a big, big project over the next couple of years.
Nomenclature, dude.
Which one? Indonesian?
No, the guy's quoting the Big Lebowski for when he goes.
Oh,
he called the guy a Chinaman, and he's like, dude, Chinaman's not the preferred nomenclature, dude. Jokes aside, I would definitely do a Chinese accent. And I go, well, I can do one, and may get the stream taken down.
I used to do accents literally all day, every day, just for fun as a kid. I don't think I've done one. I have done one.
I still do that.
I do it to my kids now, and they're like, "Stop!" And I'm like, "Well, stop what?" They're like, "Stop talking like that." I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm not talking like anything." And they're like, "You just," and they get so flustered because they don't know the word accent. They're 4, or he's 4. He doesn't know the word accent. He doesn't understand what's happening. He just knows that my voice is different and it's annoying him. So then I do it with different voices as well, and that just annoys him even further. There was one Bible stream I did where I read like a full chapter in a different accent. That was, I think it was a really bad Hispanic accent, but yeah, should do more.
I learned like a lot of slang and accent stuff from my wife, from like the Mexican background, and like I haven't perfected it yet, but there's some funny ones.
I only learned very, very common phrases and the insults because my friends' parents, because all my friends are Mexican growing up, or Puerto Rican, or Black. Those are like my friend groups. The Mexican ones, like they would just shout very specific weird phrases to each other, and then I like try to look it up in like a dictionary, and it didn't exist. It's like, okay, well, that's cool. I guess that's fine.
Yeah, the regional accent and slang stuff, as like an English speaker, you don't think about, and then you realize that it's the same thing in English. In the United States, there's places that just don't get each other, don't understand each other. But that was incredibly apparent to me because like Canadian Israeli, like there is the one accent in both places. No, there's multiple accents in Israel also, but you don't think of it that way, right? Just, it's kind of like a funny quirk. It's not like, oh, this is a regional thing. It's like, it depends where you immigrated from or where your parents immigrated from, because it's
I love the fact that accents, like people can't understand each other even if they're like native English speakers. They just don't get it. Certain accents just don't compute. I once had the surreal experience of translating an Ethiopian woman to a Hindu man by repeating what they were both saying in English to each other, because they could understand my American accent, but they couldn't understand each other's accents. So I was just standing, and this was out of like a medical conference. So there's like 2 doctors, so like very intelligent people, and they could not get past the barrier for the accents between each other. So I would repeat one thing, and then I would repeat the other thing, and then I would look at them and repeat the other thing. wild. The only time I've ever interpreted a conversation for someone, it was all three in the same language.
Yeah, so my dad is British originally. Very like your classic Englishman kind of attitude and accent. Though war off in Canada. But I remember when I was 16 years old, almost 17, I started working with him. First in like just construction management and stuff like that, and then actually doing like finance projects. And we go to sit down with like the president of this like Chinese investment firm in Toronto. And we go into the meeting and I'm like taking notes and like listening to stuff. And my dad seems super confused like most of the time, but like asking questions and clarifying and whatever it is. We get out of the meeting, he's like, I have no idea half of the stuff they were talking about. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I just didn't understand. I was like, I got everything. He's like, how did you understand? I was like, I don't know. They were speaking English. The problem. He's like, well,
yeah. Yeah, so for the Indonesian's such a weird country, man. The language itself, we're gonna have to figure out the best way to go about it. We are making leaflets and
bad side.
we're gonna make little QR codes as well, or business cards, so you can print off these for like less than a penny each, and we're gonna have missionaries distribute them with links to these websites. So we'll be able to go to Islamic areas. People anonymously leave business cards that have the Quran on it in Arabic, because you can't throw away anything that has Arabic Quran in it. You have to burn it. You have to ritually destroy it. So they can't throw these. Yeah, they can't throw these business cards away. We're going to give them to them. Right? I knew they had that for the Torah scrolls. I didn't know they had that for anything else.
Anything that you write any portion of like actual Torah writing on, with like, especially if it has God's name on it. Technically, if it doesn't have God's name on it, but even like writing Adonai would be a problem. So it's called, like in the Yiddish kind of version, it's called Shemus, which means names. But yeah, it's also the more common like general usage is Geniza. I'm sure you're familiar with that term.
Gemiza. That, I mean, it definitely sounds familiar. Not off the top of my head.
Yeah. There's like the famous Cairo Geniza with all like the manuscripts they found. And
all yes. Where the oldest Talmudic manuscripts are from. Yeah. I was trying to think of like a Hebrew word. He was not the location. Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Quran, they have the same thing. You cannot throw away anything that has any Arabic of the Quran on it, because it's automatically like becomes holy. So they can't, if there's like a bag on it that says like Allahu Akbar or something like that, you can't just throw it away. You have to deal with it. So like, if you really want to like hand out stuff to Muslims, you should have something of the Quran on it, so they can't get rid of it. Especially if you have like the full, like throw on Al-Fatiha, like throw on the first surah of the Quran. It's not long, and then they have like a legit surah on the so you can't just like, oh, it only says Allah, then throw it away. If you have like a legit section of the Quran on it, then they can't do anything with it. The other side can be Christian resources, and people can hand these out anonymously, like in burqas or whatever, in public places for people to find and read. So the idea is, how do you do apologetics in places where the Christians will be murdered for it? That is the solution, as one of the solutions we came up with, at least. So you have the internet. The internet's wonderful. It's amazing. But also in person, you have that as well. So we're making that as well. Ash came back.
Weird.
So that was weird. And that will be available this year as well. And that's going to be on the website too. So we'll have like links to print off the business card. So you can download the PDF of it, bring it to any printer, and the printer will be able to print off a few thousand of them, tens of thousands of them. You could sponsor missionaries in your area that go to different Africa or Asian countries that have a bunch of Islam. You can send these with them. It'll bring them here. And we can also do it in the different languages once we have the translations available. So this tool, that all these tools, everything that we're working on is not just like a internet thing. We're really trying to make a way to bring Jesus, the true Jesus, to the entire world. So that is my focus and the focus of several of the people working with me on it over the next several years. So, yeah. And Ash, you have the background knowledge for the Jewish side of it. I was going to delay that a bunch because I just haven't read it nearly enough. If you want to help make that, I would be more than happy to.
Like the Jewish evangelization script.
Yeah.
I started working on a book, like a guide. I just haven't had time to do it, but yeah, I could do it as the guide and then give you the content to then put in the app.
Yeah, we could do that. Whatever, however you want to lay it out. A lot of the stuff that we're doing for Islam also applies to Judaism, ironically. So like all of the Jesus is God in every chapter of Mark, how Jesus claimed to be God, how that's congruent with the Old Testament. A lot of that is already there. You don't have to redo it. And then some of the things like Trinity versus Tawhid, but their version of Tawhid's a bit different. Jesus, like, or God, like physically coming in the Old Testament, all that type of stuff we already are building out. So it'd be more so the rabbinic side of it than the biblical side of it. Any argument you can think of, anything you feel like is effective against Jews to reach them with the gospel? Absolutely, we can make that.
That's so funny. The chat is so small. It says you could do the Jewish site called Tuviopedia, and I totally thought it was something else. I'm like, well, those are only allegations. We shouldn't be saying that. But
do the grapers. Why would I do the grapers?
Going for evangelization.
Yeah.
Well, it's important because do you remember that clip where Nick Fuentes was like getting pissed off that like Christian pastors were referring to God as Yahweh? And he's like, no, Jesus is our God. And he's the God of this country. And it's like, oh boy, so you don't know anything about your own religion. That's kind of sad.
Oof. Yeah.
Well, now that makes me. I know this is several years ago, but this makes me want to go and watch the debate that he did with Jay Dyer. Because I've only ever seen clips of Nick talking about politics. I've not ever seen him really.
He's not good with the religion stuff at all.
That's what I assumed. I was like, I couldn't. When I found out they actually debated on the papacy, I was like, really?
Yeah, I'm not great on the papacy, but I do better than Nick.
I couldn't believe he. I think it was like memes. 5 or 6 years ago.
There's like memes of like Nick saying the keys, like
yeah, that's my favorite. It's literally just like 8 times in a row. Is like the keys.
Yeah.
Well, Jay, the keys.
If that's all you have, you don't have a papacy, unfortunately.
It's very, very funny. And now I'm glad. Now that I haven't watched it, knowing that like he said, I can't believe he said that. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, it's really important that people understand. Like, there are people that take a stance on the papacy and in like the trad cat stuff, even though they don't like the current pope or the last pope or the one before that, but they'll take like a stance on the Vatican I stuff that's like, because they just want to own everyone and say how cool and base the Catholic Church is, they take like a maximalist position on everything. It's like, no. If we look to the, what gets the Eastern Catholics okay with the idea of the papacy, right, is that, everything in Vatican I about papal infallibility and the role of the Pope and being the first among equals and all that stuff, blah, 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 right? That all this stuff goes back to the first millennium. Well, you need to be careful with the language then, because if you're making it seem like the Pope has like jurisdiction just to do whatever he wants whenever, like without consulting the bishops, and should never consult the other bishops, you have like that's not the stance of the church, of the Catholic Church. That's what
It's
gets
the
people to
Pope
be like,
with
see,
the
the
communion
Pope
of
is stepping out
bishops.
of line of his role.
Yeah. I mean, there are some pretty crazy popes in history, but the
Well, that's
later
the point,
popes
right?
also
The Pope
condemn
can-
those popes.
The Pope can be a bad dude, right? That's not the claim. The
Right.
Catholic Church's claim is not that the Pope is a great dude, right? That's not the theological stance. It's that the office of the Pope is protected.
Yeah.
Somebody said the keys to where? My house.
The keys to the Davidic kingdom, my friend, as the prime minister, as it were.
Do you
Foreshadowed
translate
by
these yourself?
Eliakim.
Good old
We
Eliakim.
are doing some of the translation ourselves for the ones that we know. The rest of them are probably going to be mostly AI. I would love to get more people who are fluent in those languages to help with it. But it is what it is. Also, English is basically the lingua franca of the whole world, which is awesome. And also might be prophetic because you do have like the idea of a global language and a global government and global religion before the end. And English is for sure seeming to be the like 100% global religion. More and more people are learning English every day than just by any other language in history. Pretty cool. Yeah, AI and whatever help we get.
Now?
Davidic what? Davidic kingdom.
Yeah, so it I mean, Ash is obviously more knowledgeable about this than I am, but the Davidic kingdom from the Old Testament. So you have in Isaiah 22:22, you get Eliakim gets given the keys of the kingdom, which is what the Catholics would use as a foreshadowing of Peter being given the keys by Jesus.
Right. And the fact that the other apostles have the power to bind and loose and participate in that authority does not make them the first in that role that Peter is. And then we see when Judas's place is replaced, they refer to it as an office that needs to be filled, right? So each office stays in that capacity. But then there's a whole can of worms that then opens up of why they're not 12 patriarchs and so on and so forth. But that's down the rabbit hole, if you were.
Yeah, also how Paul fits into it.
I just want to know, when are they going to get the American Orthodox Church?
They do already.
By name. I want the American bishop, archbishop, that guy.
Well, I'm like, so what's really funny is the Melkite Catholic Church that I'm part of was kind of split from the Antiochian Orthodox. And I actually met our bishop, who's a pretty cool dude. But the bishop from the Antiochian Orthodox, like the Metropolitan, who's like the main bishop in America, Metropolitan Saba, is just literally the most base dude ever. I think he said something like, I'm trying to find the quote again because I can't find the exact thing, but he said something along the lines of, if I baptized 400 million people, or I think it was 400 million, maybe that's why I'm having trouble finding it because it could be 300 million. But he said something along the lines of, if I baptize like 300 million people in my time as a bishop, like that's not enough for me. Like some quote like that, like some massive statement about how many people should be becoming Orthodox.
It's quite the claim.
If more people had that attitude, there'd be a lot more Christians.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which it's kind of like
Did you see Baptize the World?
No.
That event. So on Pentecost this year, there was a Baptize the World thing that was being orchestrated. Last year, 2025, they had Baptize America, and it was the single biggest day of mass baptism in world history. And I think it was like 80,000 people who got baptized, all in like within an hour of each other. And now that we're doing Baptize the World this year, my church participated in it. We had 11 baptisms just in our little church. I imagine it's going to be over 100,000 people baptized.
You don't like
This last
re-baptize people
Pentecost.
who like are feeling like they want to get baptized again, right?
I do.
No.
My church does not.
This is going to make you very sad. Guess how many times I've been baptized?
I don't want to know. I mean, you've only been baptized once.
Yeah.
You've gotten wet some other times. Like even the Orthodox, like a lot of Orthodox places that are like super like intense about this, like they would probably, I don't know, for Protestants. I know with Catholics they usually bring them in by chrismation with no baptism, and they say that the form was there, but it would be retroactively have the grace of baptism. But I don't know if they have the same attitude to Protestants that they do with Catholics, because it could be a different form.
I don't know.
I've gone to mikvah a bunch of times, like every day of my life for like, I don't know, how old was I when I first started? Like 3, so like 24 years of my life.
You've been baptized hundreds of times, thousands of times.
Yeah, but there's no formula with that. Like if you're baptized as a convert, there's a formula for that, right? But
well, for the regular bath, wouldn't you just like get in when you can, whenever the water's ready, then get out?
Yeah, you just go into a mikvah and
get naked
and immerse yourself.
Yeah.
But if you're a convert, they'll make you like acknowledge like lenient and strict commandments, acknowledge that you're becoming Jewish, and they will make you as Israel. There's a whole baptism ceremony thing to do with it. And
you're fully naked for that, right? So like all the dudes coming together, just like a old gym locker room, everyone just
basically
junk out.
Recently circumcised. Oh, there's a crazy story. Like you think like these Jewish like conversion groups and Noahide groups like that bring people in, they don't tell you how bad it gets sometimes. This guy from my old community was telling me he didn't realize I was a Christian at this point, and he's just like chatting and like telling me stuff about what's going on with the community. And he's like, there was this guy, I think he was Chinese, but he had been like going through like conversion classes for like 2 years, and then he went all the way up to the point where they agreed to convert him, and he got circumcised, but then got into an argument with them about something, and they never did the mikvah part and wouldn't finish his conversion, and now he's suing them. It's real bad, man.
Okay, real quick, my dogs are freaking out. They want to go outside. Can you hear them?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to hop off and take care of that. So I'll probably hop off for the night. But I do want to say a funny story. So I have been technically baptized twice, because I was baptized as a baby, and then I did get rebaptized as an adult. However, especially at the time, we were a part of the UMC at the time, and the UMC is a very strict, like, there is no second baptism. And I talked with my pastor about my reasonings for why I wanted to, and he was like, well, we'll call it a remembrance. And I was like, oh, well, you call it whatever you want. And I went though, when I was like, we did it was a big event day where like multiple people get baptized during the event. And it's like a celebration what we do. And I went to the other pastor who was like, I can't believe you haven't been baptized. And I said, oh, I have. And he lightning fast put his arm out and went, shh. He was like, it's like, congratulations. You just keep that. It's like, there are still some people here who would really not be happy to hear what you were about to say. I was like, oh, okay, all right. And I thought that was very funny. And so whether, where I sit in all of that now, I don't know. But I thought in that moment, I was like, I did laugh. I was like, all right, my bad. I'll see you in like an hour.
You're not currently considered Methodist anymore, though, right?
Technically, no. So we would still say that we follow Wesleyan theology. So like we still have like like bylaws and stuff and like doctrinal statements, but we're not actively a part of the UMC anymore. If things ever start getting fixed, maybe we would rejoin. I just don't see that ever happening. So,
well, by the way, who was it that said that? Was it Canuck?
Oh, with the cut.
Well, you think you're off the hook if you decided to become Jewish? No. Just because you've already been circumcised doesn't mean they're not going to draw blood and pretend to circumcise you.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You think I'm kidding?
No, I don't think you're kidding, which is the worst part.
This is rabbinic law because there has to be a circumcision as part of the process. If you're already circumcised, they basically draw a pinprick of blood from not your foreskin.
Have you ever gotten an STD test?
The rabbi's not going to do that one thing, right?
No, they do. They have to do everything. This is the Mitzitza dilemma. This because if you condemn it. This is why I always ask people, like, you condemn this practice, and like one of my biggest critics, like who attacks me all the time, he did condemn it, and I'm like, oh, so you're condemning a practice from the Tanaim, like from the Mishnaic era, that's unanimously agreed upon. So you don't believe in rabbinic Judaism, anyways. No, that's not true. I believe in rabbinic Judaism, but you don't have to do. Like, no. You cannot contradict that ruling. That's why Reform lady rabbis,
sages,
will still do it, because it's like it's a mandatory part of Jewish tradition that you have to do.
That's crazy. That was a man.
Yeah.
We're debating, can you be baptized more than once? And I definitely think you shouldn't be circumcised more than once.
Exactly.
I think that should be a one-time event.
This is the thing when anyone tells me, like, oh, you see, you're stupid, you became a Christian. I went the other way. I realized that the God of Israel is with the Jewish people, and I converted to Judaism. I'm like, really? let them poke your pee-pee.
I know what that means. Oh, that's crazy. All right, guys.
Well, this is even better. If you were born to a Jewish mother, but you're not for sure certain that she's Jewish by Jewish standards, and you become part of the Jewish community, they do like a safek, like a giur b'safek, like an in case of conversion sort of thing, and they'll still poke your pee-pee. So you can't get away from it unless you were like born into like bona fide Jewish community and like you have no doubts at all. They're gonna poke your pee-pee.
Oh, we're saying just keep their
I got an
hands
STD test. So for men, women have a very easy time getting an STD test. Men, what they have to do is
I have to listen.
All right. Have you ever seen the Q-tips in doctors' offices that have spikes on the side?
I don't know if I want to hear
this. So there's this Q-tip that you know how in like bear traps or like deer traps, like the blades are one directional, so whenever the foot goes in, it gets stuck and it can't come back out.
Yeah.
And without like scraping out, they have a Q-tip designed the same way. So whenever it's going down, it's smooth. Whenever it comes back out, it opens and drags outward and rips you from the inside out. And then it uses that flesh to graft for the test. I had to have that happen to me. I chose to be fair, because I was not a virgin when I got married, slept around a decent bit before I got married, slept with some girls that I should not have, especially without a condom. And my wife was like, I don't want to have sex with you before you get tested. So I got tested before the wedding because we waited till marriage. We made it. Good job, us. And that is one of the only times I have been shot, I have been stabbed, I have been beaten with a bat before. That is the only time I have passed out due to pain. and I hit the bathroom wall because right after that I decided to pee and just made the situation so much worse. And I literally passed out while peeing from pain and hit the wall and woke up on the floor of the bathroom.
I love that
extremely painful.
Poking peepees is what we do.
That just reminded me so much of them. Like, you're already circumcised and they still like draw blood there.
We're gonna have to circumcise you, but I'm already circumcised. Poking peepees is what we do.
For anyone who joined the stream within the last like 5 minutes,
I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah. This is
pastrami sandwiches, poking peepees. It's the Jewish trifecta.
No. No, dude. Never. That is the best antidote to sleeping with loose women. Is you might or may not have to get an STD test in the future. Would not recommend it. I would rather be stabbed again than go through that. It was less painful. That's more painful. Getting shot is less painful than getting stabbed. STD test by far the worst pain I've had.
I have only ever been shot at and grazed. I have never been shot proper.
Yeah.
And I have never been stabbed, but I have been slashed.
It hurts a lot. So it
feels like a punch, like a really, really, really bad punch.
Yeah, it's a bit cold at first. Your dogs are
going hear that?
Crazy.
They're like going crazy. Bro, he's insane. I told you.
They think they're getting their pee-pee poked.
When we were talking about it in the Discord, I was like, "Don't fall for how cute he is. He's a monster." I was like, "He's insane."
The worst part about the STD test is you can't get a boner afterward because it has to like heal. It's worse than getting a boner after a circumcision because it's the inside tube that's stretching and ripping. So if you were a masochist and you enjoy the process of the pain, and then you actually just.
Oh my god! All right, they're going crazy. All I was gonna, yeah, the dog's feeling the pain. Chris mentioned. Yeah, I gotta hop off. You guys have a good night. But I was just, you guys talking about getting shot and stabbed really makes me put some perspective on my life stories. I think I was like, huh.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I was in the army and then a security contractor, so
that's fair.
Yeah, to be.
Oh, Chris was doing.
Yeah, ironically, all of that was before I got involved in the army. So that was just me as a teenager doing stupid, illegal, dangerous things with people who wanted to kill me. I've actually been in like high-speed car chases from people trying to assassinate me. Yeah.
You were shot before you were in the military?
Yeah. Well, I didn't serve in infantry or anything. What was that?
Did Chris smoke something before the stream, or these are real stories?
These are real stories, yeah. So for the high speed chase one, I had to go down some back roads. He chased me on it. I went off the road to get back onto it. We went the other way, and then I sped in front of an ambulance and managed to get away because the ambulance was chasing me. So then I went off, and then I parked in someone's house, turned off the lights, and then hid. And he couldn't find me. So
sounds like a scene out of Need for Speed Most Wanted.
Yeah, that was because of a girl. So a lot of my stories end up the same way because of stupid things with women.
Yeah,
and
you know what?
Crime.
One of these days, I'll be bold enough to tell some young Drew stories. One of these days, yes. And somebody said there, I'm sure he has plenty of Chick-fil-A horror stories. I actually do have some pretty funny I have a lot of funny Chick-fil-A stories. Horror stories, maybe not so much, but I do have many funny ones. When you work somewhere for 9 years, you rack up some pretty funny moments. But Anyways, guys, have a good night. I'm gonna go. I really hope they've not left a little present for me on their pee pads.
Present.
Good night.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna head out soon too.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it. But
I just got an email from Chabad about the anniversary of the Rebbe's passing.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Why are you still getting emails from them?
Because they're funny. In retrospect, like reading them, it's just like, this is so wacky. You know, your cheesesteak on Shavuot is a mitzvah. I'm not even kidding you.
The dairy and meat thing always makes me laugh so hard.
They literally come up with these stories. It's like, the reason we eat dairy on Shavuos is because before they received the Torah, or when they received the Torah in Sinai, they didn't have kosher dishes and to cook things. And so they could only eat dairy for some reason. So we eat dairy.
Interesting.
Oh.
But yeah, before I became a Christian, I was a very violent, depraved, lustful, evil man, manipulator, liar. Did a lot of messed up things. I did things that should have definitely given me several death sentences. Super messed up individual. I am nowhere near what I was back then. So I have some stories. I have some stories that I can't tell on stream because my wife doesn't like it. So there are things that you will not find out until Judgment Day. And then everyone's gonna be like, ugh, brother, ew. I'm like, yeah.
Well, by that point, you know.
Yeah. But by the grace of God, I'm not the man I used to be. So
I don't know, he's asking, what about the rules of the crushed nut? I don't know what he's asking. Elaborate.
The crushed testicle? You're talking about for the priesthood, or like goals, like food, like the nuts that you eat? Yeah. Thank you, brother. Yes, indeed.
My background's pretty squeaky clean. I don't know.
What'd you say?
I said, talking to you, my background's pretty squeaky clean, huh?
Oh yeah. No, you never did anything bad or weird or wrong.
Pretty much. I'm kind of boring that way.
Really?
No, I'm not even kidding. I'm super boring in that way. I mean, so it depends what you mean. So I've done some crazy things, but those things were not criminal or immoral, right? So I saw a car go through a stop sign and almost hit an old lady, right? And I knew that the street that he was turning up on was a dead end at the top, but it's like really steep hill. And I sprinted up the hill and chased the car and then pulled the guy out of his car and was like, citizen's arrest, basically. Turned out the guy was an undercover cop. But yeah, he was, I actually knew his commanding officer and we called him and he got in a lot of trouble because he was not supposed to be doing that. So crazy stuff, but not like bad things.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Not like criminal activity.
Yeah.
Vile. Yeah. Not like no, I'm not going to today. We'll see.
I've had I've gotten into like massive fights, but my job was as security. like I was there protecting people, like bodyguard.
No, yeah, we were just violent individuals. But
yeah.
All right. Okay, before I start going down stories I'm not supposed to tell. I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. Reminder. No. I have done some seriously messed up Mohammedan type stuff. So, yeah. For those who have not seen it yet, if you want to go back and you missed the beginning of the stream, we have a tool. We have multiple tools coming out. I have a book coming out. All that's coming out soon. Please go through it. The link is pinned in the comment section. And then send me an emails. My email is on my website, which I also can bring up. It loads. There's that. Then there's contact and my email. So email me. Let me know what you want to see or do or have as part of the websites. And then the worsened ginger, actually had that in Muhammad's list for his vile actions. Was he was a ginger. Anyway, send me updates, suggestions, anything that's wrong or errors, and we will get this thing working in a pretty spectacular format. So thank you everyone for coming out. May the grace of the Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with you always. Goodbye.